Hey everyone, you know how I said summer is dead and gone last week? I need you to just put a pause on that for one more week. Stay tuned. So, I started out, my first experience with a Jean Paul Gaultier fragrance was actually this little tiny bottle of Mall, which I picked up a couple years ago, just because it is such a famous fragrance from 1995, I believe, and I wanted to understand it, and so I picked it up, and I smelled it, and I thought, it's not bad. It smells surprisingly modern for something from 95. It doesn't smell super dated to me. I also don't have previous experience with it, but I think the thing that I found most surprising about it was, to me, there's almost a root beer float aspect to it. It's a very interesting fragrance, but it's not for me. I don't really dig this profile that much. It's not bad, but it's a little too powdery. And I don't mean that in a texture sense. I mean, it kind of comes across to me a little bit baby powdery in the smell, but that's fine. It's clean. Vanilla, lavender, I think, are kind of the major players in this one. But with the spices underneath it, just something about it comes across like a root beer float. It's very, very interesting. It's not a bad fragrance. It's just not one that you could tell because I barely touched this. It's just not one that I'm gravitated to wear a lot. It doesn't match my style. It doesn't feel fun to me. I moved on from this one. I was like, okay, fine. That one's not for me. Everyone loves that one, but whatever. And then my next pickup was Beau, the EDT, which I blind bought because it just had such glowing rave reviews. I thought, okay, well, maybe this is the one for me. The notes sounded interesting. And honestly, it has taken me a long time to come around on this one, to be completely honest. I actually do like this one, especially when I compare it to Le Male. So Beau, to me, I can't remember the notes on this one, but I don't think orange is one of them, but it comes across as very orangey to me. This is like orange, pineapple, coconut, tropical. But for me, I think when I was first smelling it, it was just hard to get over like the hyper synthetic nature of it. But I will say the more that I smell it, the more I'm like kind of down with that, especially since I've given it full wearings a handful of times. Getting it in the air, I think that's really where this thing shines, is the sillage, not an up close smell, but what you get when you actually have it out in the air. And then honestly, I do like this one a lot more, though again, this one is not an anytime wear for me. This is like, I have to be in the mood for it. Otherwise, you know, but still a nice fragrance. But that leads me to my most recent pickup, which was not a blind buy this time. I didn't trust that I would like it wholly enough to spend the kind of money to get it, but I was interested about Paradise Gardens. The reviews have been almost uniformly pretty like rave reviews. Ironically, I don't think it smells a lot like anyone describing it to me, but I'll talk about that in a few. I still like it a whole lot, but this is quite a bit different from, I feel like, what people are talking about. The reason why I want to talk about it right now is because I don't typically buy my fragrances at retail. I just, with the amount that I get and the ones that I'm getting now, I'm still getting clones occasionally, but it's much more focused on original creations. And I just don't have the kind of money to spend on full retail, so I'm getting mine from, Fragrance Buy or Joma Shop, stuff like that. But one of the issues, especially from Fragrance Buy, who I think has a really good selection, but it's a little bit more like, you got to be on top of it. You got to have notifications on wish list items and stuff like that, because there are lots of fragrances that they may only get twice a year, where they actually get stock in and it's gone within a couple days. So there are lots of fragrances for me like that where I buy them out of season because that's when they're available at discounters. But I also find that especially when they're out of season, it tends to be a little bit easier to get them. That is one of the big one of the big challenges. And during the summertime, everyone wants to get this. So I remember at one point, Jean Paul Gaultier had stock of this on their US site. They may still, I'm not sure. But at one point they did, and it was gone within a day or two. So even when they put their stuff, when JPG puts their stuff in the US, which isn't as common, it seems like I don't feel like Beau, the Parfum, was really that very available. I know that they, like a lot of their more main ones like Ultra Mall and stuff like that, they do, but This line seems to be a little bit harder to get, and in particular Paradise Gardens over the summertime was harder to get. I tried a couple times, but I was unable. Still, I picked this one up recently from Fragrance Buy, and I had previously got a decant and found that I really enjoyed it quite a bit. So what is this fragrance? So again, apart from the hilarious bottle, which I gotta say, I love the design. I think it's hilarious. I like the little embroidered fabric little leaf there that's covering the man's bits. But other than that, the green juice is nice too. This fragrance, again, this isn't the way that I feel like it's been described. For me, this is a very tropical fragrance, but it's again, a very specifically referential one. I don't think that this is one of the notes that's listed, but I feel like I get a lot of banana out of this. And not like, okay, so I'm gonna give you a little history lesson. If you're not aware, the kind of bananas that we used to consume worldwide was a variety called Gros Michel. And I think it's around the 50s or something, around that time, I can't remember exact date, but around that time there was a fungus or something that wiped out the entire species. We completely lost that species of bananas, and they're gone. And we've replaced it since then with the Cavendish, which you may have heard that term, the Cavendish. That's the kind of banana that we have today. It's similar, but it is a little bit different. It tastes a little bit different. And most of the artificial banana flavors that you know today that have been around for a while, like Runts Candy, Moon Pies, used to be banana cream filled. I'm trying to think of other banana-y sorts of things. Oh, lollipops from Disneyland, the big round ones, you know, those have like a banana flavor to them, but it always comes across as like a different banana than like what you're used to. And the reason for that is because those banana flavors were developed back when Gros Michel was still around. So like the Runts candies, the lollipops that you get at like, you know, Disneyland, stuff like that, that banana flavor is actually supposed to taste like Gros Michel. Why do I bring all of that up? This to me smells like those flavorings, like the Runts bananas or the lollipops from Disneyland, has that aspect to it. So this comes across with that as this like really fun, fruity, tropical fragrance, but this has a decent amount of mint in it, not to the point where it smells like toothpaste, but where there is a cooling effect to it. And so like with all the Jean Paul Gaultier fragrances that I've smelled, the performance on this is monstrous. It lasts a really long time, and the sillage is really, really impressive. I think Jean Paul Gaultier is in the same kind of family as Paco Rabanne, or sorry, just Rabanne now, is in the same family of Rabanne fragrances where they are these strong, powerful, really lean heavily into the sillage. And that's the case with this one. So I have lots of fragrances that are tropical. The Beau, the EDT is one of them and stuff like that. But this is the first one to me that really, really feels tropical and masculine. I have a sample of a fragrance that I am pretty obsessed with that I am trying to track down. I don't want to spend full freight on it, so I'm not gonna, but if I can get a discounted bottle of it, I can, from Kajal. I got a sample of that. It's another tropical fragrance. That one, I will wear it, but I think it's more targeted towards women. This one though, it somehow feels like it works as a masculine fragrance, even though it's very tropical. And I feel like there's a dangerous road that you could go down with this where you have all these tropical things and you either smell like a candle or it doesn't smell masculine. But this does. It still manages to do that somehow. And it's really, really good. It's like kind of a third time's a charm, honestly, for me on this one, because I had to kind of convince myself to come around on Beau EDT. I'm glad I did though, because I really do enjoy it, but it is still a very temperamental thing. This one is the first one for me where I feel like I can just go grab it and spray it on, because it's not going to be something where I'm like, do I like that? Do I feel like there's like a kind of a, with Beau, there's something about pineapple for me. It can be a real miss in fragrances and I feel like there's something to that in Beau. Maybe there's not, but that, and there's that Honor and Glory from Lattafa. There's something about pineapple just doesn't work really well unless it's like the Aventus pineapple, where it isn't really to me, screaming out pineapple. I don't get a huge dose of pineapple from that. I just get the effect of like of a fruit. This largely is going to be like the bananas. I feel like maybe some sort of a coconutty sort of thing, and the mint, some woods I think under there that's maybe giving it kind of that masculine aspect to me. But it's really good. I think this is really great. I wish the other fragrances that I've gotten from Jean Paul Gaultier I liked as much as this one, but this is a real winner, and I love everything about this. This is the great bottle design, great juice color, great fragrance. It's all around a win. So the thing I would say is this: go shop on discounters. Might still have some stock available on Fragrance Buy, but I would go try and pick this up in the off season, and then you can enjoy it when spring comes, and spring and summertime. This will be so good, so good. Really, really good stuff. So let me know if you've smelled this below. I will say this is a shout out without any sort of, there's nothing attached to this. The company doesn't know that I'm doing it. I'm not getting anything for it. This is purely like for the good of you, my viewers. The sample I got this from, I got a whole bunch of other decants from them as well. It's a company called Scent Rush, and I'll put a link to them in the description. They just get a free shout out from me because I've ordered from 3 or 4 different decant companies, and I think I like these guys the most. They don't have the most comprehensive selection that I've ever seen, but they have a really good selection of fragrances that are challenging to smell for me. Like difficult to get my hands on or get, you know, I don't have a store that I can go to smell these. So this is basically the only way. The presentation is outstanding. The shipping was really fast, like it feels nice and high quality. But for me, the big thing is that I feel like the pricing is really fair. A lot of decant companies that you go to, it really feels like they're trying to get as much profit as they can out of you, which I understand. But I'm just trying to get a smell of this thing. You know what I mean? Like if I could, I would just go to a counter of a store and smell it, but I can't. So I have to order 2 mil from you. So when you charge me $25 for 2 mil of something that costs, you know, $200 or something, it's kind of like, oh, whatever. So I like these guys because it doesn't feel like they're price gouging. Their selection is good. The shipping is fast. They have these nice little glass bottles that they come in. Everything is really clean, neat. So I would say give those guys a check out. If you're looking for some decants, this is just a free shout out because I think they do a good job. But yeah, I got my decant of this from them, and it's great. I actually got my decants of the Absolute Aventus, the video that I did on that one, Oud for Glory or Greatness. I mean, I don't know, I got like a dozen or more decants from them. So good company. This is a good fragrance. If you've smelled it, tell me in the comments below, and let's chat. Talk to you later. Bye.